guys, welcome in here on a Saturday. It's another edition of the Joe Raineri Show, brought to you by our good friends at Paperhead, as well as uwager.lv. And the man coughing in the background there joins us. We are excited as our buddy Scott. It is another year, halftimemagic.com. And you guys wanted to hop on here, just coming close to halftime in a lot of these early games, college football. And if you guys are new, if you didn't get a chance to hang with us last year, Scott delivered, and the guys at Halftime Magic in their in mission control around the country, they just dominate second half wagering, which is a lot different, guys, than full game wagering. And those of you that joined us last year, you figured that out rather quickly. Way profitable. And really, there's a good chance that once you guys check out the system, see how it works, you'll probably never bet a full game line again. We heard that a lot last year. But when it comes to football and, of course, the upcoming NBA college basketball season, second half wagering is huge, guys. It's something you need to have in your arsenal. And I thought, who better to help explain second half wagering and is the guy that makes it the most profitable for all of us. It is Scott. He is the CEO, the man behind the brains behind halftimemagic.com. And Scott, here we are. We find ourselves week 3 in college football, week 2 in NFL, and we're up and running here, brother.
Yeah, finally at full swing. It was a torturous summer waiting for some kind of halftime to pop up. So we're excited.
It is. It's a good time. So as we take a look quickly at some of these games here coming up to halftime, and, you've got some of these ridiculousness. You got, like Vatech taking on Furman, and, some of these Georgia taking on Arkansas State, 34-0. But we got a lot of games that are very close. I mean, West Virginia, NC State, Temple, Maryland are playing a baseball game right now, 7-2. Eastern Michigan, Illinois. There's even a couple of dogs that are in the lead right now. Miami of Ohio was getting 17 points, and they're coming up to the half, beating Cincinnati on the road, 10-7. So there are some interesting games on the board right now, getting ready to go to half.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, you want to see a more competitive game for the second half wagering. You don't want to see a absolute blowout at half, kind of like this Ohio State game, because you have no idea how the coach is going to handle that blowout. Are they going to play the starters through the whole second half, or are they just going to fold up shop and let a late score happen? So we focus on the games that are more competitive. We try to stay for college or for any football within a 2-touchdown score. Once in a while, we'll see, maybe 17, 20-point lead at half, and we'll play it. But we try to play the more competitive games at half. It just, it's a lot easier to predict.
All right, now, so those of you that, and what he's talking about is obviously it's 30-3 right now, about 2 minutes left there, Ohio State and Indiana. Probably not a game that you can count on anything in the second half happening on either squad. Who knows how they're going to react, but second half wagering is not full game wagering, guys. It's not a situation where you take the first half, Scott, and just, couple that with what goes on here after halftime. The great thing about second half wagering, not in-game live wagering, totally different ball game. That is a continuum, a just continued bet on what is happening in the game live. Scott, second half is it's its own animal, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brand new ball game, right? So whatever happened in the first half as far as score means nothing, for the wager. So it's a whole new game. And the advantage is where you get to, we get to see the stats the first half where they're actually matching up. The teams are matching up than just playing something off paper, what they've done in the past versus other teams. So, that's where it goes. Where as far as, you're betting a brand new bet, and you're betting with your armed with statistics from the first half from an actual matchup.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the value is there. The value is there, and quite honestly, you're probably asking, if you haven't done this, why? Why second half wagering? Isn't it just aren't the books onto this? But the reality is that the books aren't going to be spending – they don't have the manpower, so to speak, across the board to be monitoring every game like you guys are at Halftime Magic.
Exactly. So that's the second half of the edge, right? So the first half is the actual matchup, statistical matchup, real time, and then the more important edge is the lines, what we call soft lines, right? So the sportsbook put up second half lines based on the full game line the majority of the time, right? So I always use the example, you get a team that's -10 for the game. They go to half, say it's a close game. They're usually right around -5 the second half because they're trying to make it that full game -10 line.
Right.
So that's where you could take advantage, because when these teams match up, you can look at the statistics and say, not only should this team not be getting 5 the second half, they should be giving points based on the statistics. So, you have the stats in your favor, and then you have soft lines that you can really take advantage of the sports books, because, like you said, they do not have time to filter through every one of these games and analyze them, nor they probably don't even have an algorithm that does that yet. So it's just a huge advantage. It's by far the most ultimate edge in sports betting, and I've been doing this, all kinds of betting, for a long, long time, and this is by far the most profitable and the most reliable.
And it's true, guys. I mean, honestly, those of you that hopped on last year and you followed them throughout the end of the college football season, all throughout basketball season, you realize it becomes very difficult for you to ever bet a full game line again, knowing, listen, you want an edge. That's the whole point of what we do in betting. We want edges, and really. If you're a high volume player, if you're somebody that likes to bet 30 games a day, you're not going to get 30 edges in a game. You know what I mean, Scott, during a day. But if you are somebody that likes to, hey, I want to have an edge. I don't care what it is. If it's 1 game, 3 games, 5 games, 7 games, I'm good to go. Just give me the edge. And this could be very well what they're looking for.
Right. I mean, if someone's not looking for edge, someone's not winning overall the long run. So that's the bottom line. I mean, People learn the hard way. First starting out, they want action. They want to bet the game on TV. They want to bet every game on the board, and they quickly learn that that's how bookies and sports books are in business, right? So if you can be more disciplined, not that we don't have a high volume of plays. We put out a good amount of plays, but we only put out plays that fit our system, fit our algorithm, what we're looking for statistics wise. So. Yeah, I mean, the playing every game thing is not how you make money, and if you do that, good luck.
No, yeah, exactly. It's just not what's going on here. But if we take a look at the board here, Scott, now that we got halftime coming up, was there a couple of games that you guys at halftimemagic.com are looking at, monitoring right now as we get ready for the 2:00 kickoffs?
Yeah, I'm eyeballing this Kansas State Mississippi State game. It's favoring Kansas State. I mean, it's not a great play. I don't think it's going to be an official play for us, just because I thought this line would be a little higher. I think the full game line was Mississippi State -7. So second half, so again, this is a brand new bet, right? So the second half, the Mississippi State is -3. So I think it might go up a little bit. I think you might get 3.5, 4 by the time this game goes off. But definitely leaning on Kansas State. I want to look at it a little closer. But I think Kansas State getting points second half, because according to our stats, it looks like they should be giving points. So once again, this is a perfect example of a team that, they're basing it off the full game line. Mississippi State was -7 for the half. They're actually down at half. So lo and behold, they have to be giving points second half, because they try to, get it closer to that full game line. And this is a perfect example of a team that statistically they look better. They look better in the actual matchup, Kansas State, that is, in the first half. So they should be giving points, and they're getting 3. So I would like to see it a little higher, but I definitely think it's worth a play.
Worth a look. All right, good, perfect, guys. And again, games right now on the board that you will see at halftime: Georgia, Arkansas State. Georgia is now a 10.5-point favorite. In the second half, keeping in mind, whatever happened in the first half is not the point, but this is, again, one of those situations. It was 34-0 going into half. The second half, you don't know what Georgia's going to do. They pulling everyone out. Is Arkansas State pulling everyone out? So these aren't typically the types of blowout games that you're going to be getting, or you should be looking at yourself in second half wagering, but certainly a game where you've got Kansas State, you've got Mississippi State, and you've got a situation where, look, I'm showing them 3.5 right now. Kansas State 3.5 at our friends at uwager.lv. So at plus 3.5, like you said, they should probably be getting minus money. So we should. I'm going to go ahead and jump on Kansas State right now and get that in.
Well, what I'll do as well is you can show them as one of our customers. We'll put out the play, and you can show them how it comes through, and you have that window to put it in. But we're going to put that out right now, actually, as a play, official play.
So what you guys see, what happened is everything is via obviously cell phones these days. That's how we live and breathe, and that's how it works. So what'll happen, because halftimes aren't very long, guys, in NBA, college hoops, certainly in college football and the NFL. there's a very limited amount of time that the data comes in, and you're going, all right, well, how the hell do I get the data? I'm out to dinner, I'm at the pool, I'm at the beach, I'm doing golf. How the hell am I supposed to know when the play comes in? Well, that's what it is. I mean, you get notified via text, and as soon as that play comes out, it hits your phone, you get alerted, and then from that particular point on, guys, it's just a matter of jumping onto your book, whatever it may be, making the play, and you're good to go. I mean, it's about anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes that you have that 8 to 12-minute window at halftime. Once the line gets posted, the play will come out, and then, of course, you've got that 8 to 12-minute window to go ahead and be able to place the bet there, Scott. And it's fairly simple. I mean, when you think about it, it really is. It's not and, for instance, here it is. At Halftime-Magic, the line just came across. Here it is, Kansas State plus 3.5. That's how you get notified, guys, and it is just that simple. So there's not a lot to it. If you have a cell phone, not sure if you don't have a cell phone. I'm not sure exactly what you're doing anyway. But, yes, that's how you get the plays in. I mean, it's so simple, too, guys. All you have to do right now is head over to, let me put it up on the board here. You guys go to halftimemagic.com. There's the site. All right? It's fairly simple, not to mention history of everything, because being transparent is obviously, a necessity. His records, guys, they're all there. I mean, every play is documented. Every play is there. Not to mention, if you go to twitter.com and you follow him there at Halftime Magic, follow the guys there. He's always putting out free plays during the day anyway, but every play documented. And it always goes out. This is the other thing, Scott. The plays always go out afterward. Like, he's not going to post a play, 2 days later. The plays are always posted as soon as they go out to the clients first. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, we send them out to the clients, and then as soon as the game goes to starts the second half, we send them out, or else it wouldn't be a paid service. So, we get a lot of guys that don't understand, and they see our Twitter feed and they're like, "Well, thanks for that pick. The game already started." The point is, that it's a paid service, but we put it out real time right after the second half starts, right, for transparency, for tracking as well, because I know there's a lot of sports monitoring websites out there. Mm-hmm. Nobody does second half, so we would love to have a sports monitor independent. But there's nobody out there that does it. So that's why we have to post our plays real time to let everyone know, transparency wise. So yeah,
and it's important. But guys, listen, you're seeing the play come over. It's that simple. Kansas State was getting plus 3.5 there in the second half, and that's going to be probably fluctuating now. Which, of course, timing, you guys know, is everything in sports betting, because you're betting the numbers. It really doesn't make a damn bit of difference what the teams are. But it's important, Scott, to make sure that when you expect the plays, on a Saturday like today, you got, right around 1:30, those 12 o'clock starts, here you go. Here comes the halftimes. Expect the plays during those windows every weekend from here on out.
Right. I mean, exactly. Especially, it gets a little more convoluted when you get into college basketball, and there's games every 10 minutes basically on a Saturday. But college football, you always know there's the 11 a.m. Central Time games, so you should expect a text right around 12:30 when they go to half, right in that window. The 2:30 games, expect to text right around 4 o'clock. So college football, it's a lot easier to kind of expect for the bulk of the games. When to be on alert for the plays.
All right, so there are a lot of games starting to go to getting ready to go to half here, guys. Ohio State, Indiana. Right now, Ohio State, we're looking at with our friends at uwager.lv. Ohio State laying 7.5. The over/under 27.5. They're leading 30-10 right now. Kansas State, the play that Halftime Magic pushed out there, they're winning it on the road at Mississippi State, 17-14, getting 3.5. I see it's almost down to 3 right now. So again, jump on it, guys, because, it's no different. Once the books start seeing a lot of action coming in on one side, they're going to adjust either via the number, Scott, or via the juice, one or the other. They're, once that money starts rolling in, and usually the second half bettors, the guys that we know, guys that it's all they do, and they're the ones that they push lines. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of money sometimes that comes in on these second halves and pushes the line rather quickly.
Right, exactly. Again, these are cookie cutter lines, and the sportsbook puts it up, and then they let the sharp bettors push the line where it should probably go. So, I mean, that's an edge in itself. If you just sat around and watched line movement in the second half, you can probably be a profitable better as well. But
Right.
Just because they're focusing on the big money coming in on them, the more informed money, I should say. And there is nothing more informed than be able to see how teams are interacting the first half. So
yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and right now, guys, it's another interesting one. This baseball game they got going on at Temple. It is 7-2 at half. And the total in that game, the pregame, guys, was like 64, 63, 60. It was obnoxious. And right now they've got 9 points. And the second half, and this is kind of another one of those cookie-cutter situations, the full game line was 64, 63. So, and now it's 31, 30 and a half, 30. They basically cut the number in half. So they're expecting – we didn't get any scoring in the first half, right? But now we're expecting to get the other half of that full game line of 61, 62. Somehow we're supposed to be getting that in the second half, Scott.
Right, exactly. I mean, this game's a little mixed. I probably wouldn't play it. I mean, if I had to, I would definitely play under 30 and a half. But this is a per example. I mean, if the stats were just a little better for what we look at, this is a golden play, right? I mean, they scored 9 points the first half, and they just cut the half line, and it's 30 and a half. If stats are pointing, anywhere near the under, that's free money, right?
Exactly.
So it's like this is a good example. Granted, it's not a perfect play for us, but these pop up all day, every day they play. So
Yep.
Another game I want to point out, it's not an official play as well, but Miami, Ohio getting 7.5 second half, I think is a good wager. It's not an official wager because there's a couple things that aren't in our parameters, but it's definitely worth, if you're just looking, again, if you want a little action,
Right.
it's worth, might be worth a couple bucks just to maybe see how it goes.
Yep. And again, Miami, Ohio right now, and another one of these, you'll start seeing games in the second half. Keep in mind, second half wagering's all about the second half. It's got nothing to do with what happened in the first half. So it's a great eyeball test, and you might be looking at saying, well, how did they do it? Well, they've got two centers that they work from, the guys at Halftimemagic, Scott, and they're monitoring every game in real time. And that's really what it's all about, is that, you've got the crew, you've got the guys there that are sitting around. They're watching. I mean, they're monitoring the games. The data goes in, and basically that's how you guys, once it fits into your parameters, it's a well-oiled machine how you guys have this thing working right now.
Yeah, I mean, we do it so our players don't have to, right? It's pretty tedious sitting here monitoring 100 games in a day, especially when basketball starts. You got college basketball, college football, NBA, things like that. So yeah, we do the work for you. And again, we have an algorithm that we have put to the test. We're 8 years into it, and we average long term over 58% winners. So it's it works. It's an incredible system, and we do the work for our players. So all you got to do is sit back, wait for a text, log in on your smartphone, your sportsbook, and put the play in.
That's it. I mean, guys, it is that simple. A couple other games going to half right now. NC State, West Virginia knotted up at 21. Currently, second half, NC State looking like the road favorite in the second half, -3. West Virginia getting 3. West Virginia was leading in this game most of it until NC State came out late in the second quarter and has tied it. Maryland Temple, we told you, a lot of head scratching going on there. Miami, Ohio is the other play that he mentioned. Not an official play from Halftimemagic, but they're getting 7.5. It includes the hook. It's at -110, or our friends at uwager.lv, guys. Over under 23.5. And then here's a real fun one too that just came in. Eastern Michigan and Illinois. Illinois was a big favorite in this game, guys, and they come in losing, trailing right now, 23-17 to Eastern Michigan. So now you look at the line and you go, okay, now Eastern Michigan. Well, and this is another one of those bit of a head scratchers. You go, well, Eastern Michigan is winning 23-17, and yet they're still getting 4.5, 5 points in the second half. So that would mean Illinois, they're expecting Illinois to make a serious comeback in the second half to be able to not only win, cover the second half, but also cover the game.
Right. Illinois is, and being from Illinois, I can vouch for this. They are a hack squad. Even with Lovie Smith, they just have not. And I've always said, too, for the talent pool they get to draw from and how perennially bad they are every single year, I mean, they're terrible. But anyway, last week we didn't put it out as official play because not a lot of people get the money line, but I forgot who they played. but I think it was a MAC team, and the MAC team was getting 5-1 second half because the line was like minus 14 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we put a little bit on that, and of course we got the 5-1 winner home.
Of course, yeah.
That just shows you how bad Illinois really is.
Yes, yeah.
And that's another thing too. You start seeing these tendencies of teams that just don't do well in half. I mean, a lot of times you're going to see the same teams from us second half, that they just don't fit the line. Like the full game line just is not accurate. And it takes a while. It takes a few weeks for the sports books to finally adjust it and catch up. And we've already made our money, on the bad lines or the soft lines. So it's a pretty incredible edge.
And that's the whole point, guys, having the being able to get the edge, being able to know what to look for. And you are not going to be monitoring, FAU Ball State coming up, all right? I mean, let's be realistic here. Even if you lost a bet, you wouldn't be watching that game. But that doesn't mean at halftime there's not going to be an edge. Throughout the day of Saturday, you've got the guys here at halftimemagic.com. All you got to do is have the phone, guys. Have the phone. Hello? Look at that. Halftime, I got a second half play, and just be good enough to, in an 8 to 12-minute stretch, make the play at your book, whatever you are using, guys. It is so simple. And really, all they got to do, Scott, is they head over to halftimemagic.com, right? And the sign-up is right there. How exactly do guys get signed up for the service, and what kind of prices are we talking here?